The phenomenon of crude oil theft and crude losses must be properly deconflicted in order to prefer lasting solutions to the menace which is currently bedeviling, our economic resource. Here we need to understand the differences between oil theft and, of course, oil loss. In this case, while oil theft is siphoning crude oil from vandalized pipes into barges, oil losses occur when there is non-production, especially during shut-ins and force majeures, as the federal government does not earn the desired revenue it should. Losses also occur as a result of metering errors, on the operating platforms, as read. But however, the volume of crude oil shut-ins from non-production are often added to figures for oil theft instead of declaring them as oil losses, which should not be. Some sources also claim that about 20,000 to 200,000 barrels per day are being considered, as stolen. Most of these claims are definitely outrageous and unrealistic. Well, let us even briefly analyze this. Like, for instance, 100,000 barrels of crude oil is equivalent to 15,800,000 liters of crude oil, which will require a 5-ton barge making 3,160 trips per day to convey this product out of the creek. How do you pass, the estuaries with this? Because
3,000 times a day.
Oh yes. So let's assume now you even, have many barges because of the time required to carry out this product. That means you'll entirely close the navigable waters, heading out to sea through the estuaries to embark them or to transship them into a mother vessel that will eventually take them out of the country. Of course, this is most unlikely concerning the heightened presence of security agencies in the maritime environment, as well as the launch of the subsisting operation Dakta Barawo by the Nigerian Navy, including, of course, the deployment of the maritime domain awareness facilities like the Falcon Eye. These facilities have, in the last 4 weeks, detected a number of vessels attempting to load crude oil and liquefied natural gas within, offshore terminals without necessary documentation and, of course, approval from relevant authorities like the NNPC. It is after such vessels have been arrested that an updated list with such vessels' name is forwarded to the Navy to effect a release when they are duly programmed, to load any of these liquids within our maritime domain. Some incidences that had occurred in the past 4 weeks to 5 weeks include the apprehension or arrest of MT Vivid Arabia, which is an LNG super tanker, which entered the country on the 12th of July to load liquefied natural gas in Bonny without relevant documents. And of course, we had the MT Trinity Arrow, which was also arrested for entering without necessary approval and clearance to load LNG on the 12th of July also. The latest, of course, which is in the public space, is the super tanker MT Heroic Eden, which is 336 meters long and 60 meters wide breadth. Imagine, a very massive ship. Imagine the size of a 3 football field and 1/3 of it. which was meant of, like I said, of course, it has the capacity of carrying 3 million barrels. It entered into the space in Apple Field on the 8th of August, or rather 7th of August, and was accosted on the 8th of August, while attempting to proceed to the single buoy mooring at the Apple oil field, of course, in Bonny, without approval. And she refused to respond to instructions from the Nigerian Navy ship, which, was interrogating her. And then, of course, subsequently preventing her from the loading process which she intended to undertake. Of course, the ship subsequently proceeded towards Nigeria's Satome Joint Development Zone and raised false piracy incident indicative of our encounter with the Nigerian Navy ship. That was NNS Gongola anyway.
It was accusing.
Yeah, now accusing, knowing clearly that its interaction was with a Nigerian Navy man of war. So, of course, the ship was eventually arrested on the 10th of August at Equatorial Guinea through the activation of the collective arrangement of Nigeria with its neighbors, which, of course, the Equatorial Guinea is part of. She's part of the Gulf of Guinea maritime area. As I speak, arrangements are in progress to hand over to the Nigerian Navy to conduct an in-depth investigation to unearth actions of the vessel in order to ensure a more transparent vessel nomination process for crude oil and, of course, liquefied gas loading procedures at various terminals offshore within the Nigerian Navy hydrocarbon architecture.
This, of course, this heroic Eden is its capture or its interception was one of the successes of Falcon Eye, because Equatorial Guinea otherwise would not have had the capacity to intercept this, if not for the fact that the Nigerian Navy was able to provide it with information in real time for this purpose.
Of course, the Captain David, which is the Equatorial Guinean naval warship that interdicted was led by the Falcon Eye MDA onto the objective area where MT Heroic Eden was heading, and of course successfully arrested. They are not seeing what is happening, but they equip with electronic chart and paper charts and all that, and so through the Falcon Eye facility here, they were led to the position where Heroic Eden is, and of course she was subsequently arrested. As we speak, they are answering for infraction on the maritime laws of Equatorial Guinea, and of course when they subsequently come here, they will tell us why they came within our maritime space, and not only that, try to indict us by raising false alarm on piracy. But I must put on note that through the reporting networks of piracy incidents around the world, we were able to speak with the International Maritime Bureau to discountenance that particular incident as null, because Heroic Eden positively identified NNS Gongola as a Nigerian Navy warship, that had directed it earlier to proceed to anchorage until when she is due for loading, if at all she's even nominated. Because by the subsequent nomination of her to lift crude oil at Apple oil field, she was supposed to commence on the 17th of August. And
which was not yet time at all.
Which was not yet time, and she was not supposed to be there. And she was supposed to be loading just a little below 1 million barrel. And here she is with a capacity of 3 million barrel. So the intent, we are convinced the intent to steal illegally or to steal Nigerian crude is very, very eminent, which was of course exemplified by her running away while being asked to proceed to anchorage in Aramboni.